So student, I am Professor Sanjay K. Bhadke and I welcome you all for the first class of Transportation Engineering 2. We know that All India Council of Technical Education AICT New Delhi has sponsored us the Prerna scheme, and under this Prerna scheme we have arranged the various GATE classes. So student, today's our topic is transportation engineering and the subtopic is transportation infrastructure. So we know that in our syllabus of civil engineering, the transportation engineering, this topic is subdivided in three types. One is related with the roadway engineering, second one is related with the railway engineering, and third one is related with the airport engineering. So you student knows that transportation engineering 1 related with the roadways has been introduced in 4th semester syllabus, and transportation engineering 2, which include the railway engineering and airport engineering, which is included in the syllabus of 7th semester. Basically, we know that transportation is the need of today's generation. There are number of social benefits of transportation engineering. We know that in 1853 we introduced the first railway in India, which ran from Mumbai to Thane, and before that, in the age of British, we have the number of roads, and today we are taking the benefits of the airport in our India. There are national and international airports. So all these come under the transportation engineering. So again, there are the deep transportation infrastructure, which include the various construction of the road, various construction of the railways, various construction of the airports, and various soft construction. So that's why our today's topic is given the name as a transportation infrastructure. Basically, transportation infrastructure is contain the various construction which is related with the roadways and railways. If we take the example of roadways, we have the construction of roads, we have the constructions of bridges, and if you take the case of railway, in the railway we have the constructions of various permanent way, various track which connect the various metro city to each other, and we can easily and cheaply took our travels through this. So transportation plays a very important role in our life. So today we are going to discuss about the various aspects of transportations. So these are the some reference book which you can use to study this subject. So there is the first book of highway engineering, which is written by Mr. Khanna and Justo and published by New Chand Publications. So this book you can use to study the various aspects in roadways. Another book is Bridge Engineering of S.P. Bindra, Dhanpat Rai Publication, which is related with the deep study of bridge engineering, related with the bridge, various types of bridge, and how bridge play important role in our life. Again, another book is by S.V. Rangwala, published by the Charter Publications. So this is another important book from which you can take the knowledge related with the bridge engineering. We have number of the IS code and any other books which is related with the various designs of the highway engineering. We have some practice book like Principle and Practices of Highway Engineering by S.K. Sharma and Khanna Publication. So these are the number of books which we can use for the transportation engineering related with the roadways. So today we are going to discuss about the geometric design of roadways. We know that we are using various types of road for the transportation, and mainly there are two type of road. One is flexible pavement, and second one is rigid pavement. Basically, flexible pavement is the construction of bitumen, and rigid pavement it is the construction of RCC structure. And nowadays, for a good life, we are replacing all the flexible pavement with the help of RCC structure. So our today's topic is divided, and we are going to discuss about the following various points. So what do you mean by the chambers? How one should have the knowledge of the side distance? What are the various types of transition curve? How super elevation plays an important role for the construction of roads? What do you mean by the extra widening? What are the summit curves? What are the valleys curve? We know that when we construct the road, we should construct it for summit curve and valleys curve, because if you want a proper and straight alignment, so in that case, it is not possible that every time we should get the straight alignment. But for the safety of purpose, if your road is straight, your alignment is straight, so it will avoid the accident. That's why for the safe movement of the various vehicles, we are providing various types of curves, and these curves are classified like a summit curves and valleys curves. So today, in today's class, we are going to cover all these topics. And then what do you understand by today's presentation? So by studying this topic, the student should able to understand and design the highway cross sections such as super elevation, transition curve, summit curve, and valley curve. So one should get the knowledge. What do you mean by curves? How curves are classified, and what are the use of curves in the uh, road construction. Same time, everyone should understand what do you mean by the super elevation, what do you mean by the centrifugal force. If a person who is designing the road, and if he having the proper knowledge of super elevation and centrifugal force, so in that case he can minimize the road accident. The geometric design of the highway is deal with the dimension and layout of visible features of the highway. We know that visual features of the highway plays an important role for this type of design. The emphasis of the geometric design is to address the requirement of the driver and the vehicle, such as the safety, comfort, efficiency. We know that when we are traveling through the road, there should be the safety, and this safety plays very important role in case of driver. Once driver is able to drive the car or any other vehicle properly, in that case passenger will save. So we know that driver should have a proper knowledge of this geometric design. That's why he can provide a safety, he can provide a comfort, and we can travel with the efficiency. So what this geometric design include? We know that when we design or when we construct a road, we should have considered some geometric properties. So these geometric properties is depend upon the following factors. One is highway alignment and road classification. Highway alignment, for the safety purpose, it is very important that your alignment should be straight, and you should know the classification of roads. We know that roads are classified as their types, their size. We can classify that a national highway, state highway, international highway, or being considering the material, we say that flexible road, RCC road, WBM road. So this way we can classify the road. Then another important point is pavement surface and its characteristic. Cross section element, it include the slope, various width of the road and features. Like everyone should know the feature of the road. Once you have the proper idea of the road, in that case you can construct the road. Okay. Then another important point is the side distance. So side distance plays a very important role to avoid the accident. One, being an engineer, you should have a knowledge of the side distance. Okay. You should have a knowledge of the signals and sign, and you should obey all these things. So everyone should have the knowledge of side distance. What do you mean by cross slope? What are the various width and features of the road? What are the various horizontal alignment, which include the features like a super elevations, transition curve, extra widening, setback distance. So why we are providing the super elevation? Why we are providing the extra widening? What is the setback distance? So everyone should have this knowledge. Then another important thing is the vertical alignment and its component, like gradient. How the gradients are classified? What are the various types of gradient? Why gradients is important in the road construction? What do you mean by the cutting? What do you mean by the filling? What is the side distance? What are the desirable length of the curve? So everyone should have this knowledge. Once you get this knowledge, you can properly design a road. So now we are going to discuss about the various geometric points which is related with the geometric design of the road. One is design speed. Okay, so speed plays a very important role when you are construct the any roadways. So design speed is the single most important factor that affect the geometric design. It is directly affect the side distance, horizontal curve, length of the vertical curve. Since the speed of the vehicles vary with the driver, it is a design speed adapt for all the geometric design. They want to tell that design speed plays a very important role. Okay, your construct or what you are going to construct, it should be userly friendly. What will be the design of the vehicle? There should not be any type of dangerous, and you can design a road like this that there should be the comfort and safety for the passenger. The design speed is normally defined as the highest condition speed at which the individual vehicle can travel with the safety of the highway in the weather condition or any other condition. For example, if you are taking a rainy season, in case of rainy season, our roads are wet, and if you are moving with a high speed, so there should not be any type of skidding and slipping of the vehicles or any car like vehicles, so that one can properly drive on the road. So everyone should go this type of road construction, and which provide a comfort and safety for passenger. The next point is the design speed is different from the legal speed limit, which is the speed limit imposed to curve. A common tendency of drivers to travel behind and accept safe speed. Design speed also difficult from desired speed, which is the maximum speed at which a driver would travel when unconcerned by other types or local geometry. This way, design speed plays a very important role, and it should be possible that driver should move his vehicle with a proper design speed, and there should not be any type of skidding or slipping of the vehicles. The next point we are going to discuss about the camber. So what do you mean by the camber? We know that camber or con, it is the cross slope provided to raise the middle of the road. So I just want to explain you what do you mean by the camber. Basically, camber is a horizontal structure which we are providing at the middle of the road. In case of rainy season, there is a high rainfall, that should not be on the road, and there should be the proper drainage of the water from the road. So in that case, we are providing the camber, a topmost portion at the middle of the road. And once you provide the camber, you will solve the problem of the drainage, and which help you to avoid the various types of skidding and slipping of the vehicles. So normally we are taking the slope of the camber is 1:50 or 2%, and we are also taking the various dimension of the camber as per recommended by the IRC, that is Indian Road Congress. And these cambers are mainly classified as parabolic shape, straight shape, or combination of both. Okay. So as per the requirement, as per the atmospheric condition, we are providing the various types of cambers at various roadside. Next, we are going to discuss about the various types of side distance. So I already told you that side distance plays a very important role in case of safety. So the side distance are classified as, first is SSD, which is called as stopping side distance. Second one is intermediate side distance, which is called as ISD. Third one is overtaking side distance, which is called as OSD. And headlight side distance. So these are the various types of side distance. Basically, we should know when you are going to study, when we are going to study for GATE. So in that case, they may ask you what do you mean by the side distance and what are the various types of the side distance. So you should know the side distance are SSD, ISD, and OSD. These are the various types of the side distance. So now we are going to discuss about the stopping side distance. The stopping side distance is the minimum side distance available on the highway at any spot having sufficient lane to enable the driver to stop a vehicle travel at a design speed safely without collision with any other obstruction. Okay. So why we are providing the stopping side distance? So we want to avoid the any type of collision between two vehicles. There is a term called as the safe stopping side system, and is one of the important measure in traffic engineering. It is the distance a vehicle travels from a point at which a situation is first preserved to the time the declaration is complete. Okay. So when we have the proper stopping side distance between the two vehicles, maybe the vehicles are situated in front side or back side. So we should have a proper distance between two vehicles so that we can avoid any type of collision between the vehicles. So how this stopping side distance can be calculated mathematically? So we have the formula, the stopping side distance mathematically calculated, that SSD is equal to Vt plus V square divided by 2G in the bracket F plus minus 0.01 into N, where we can say V is the velocity, T is the time taken by the driver to apply the load, then G is your gravitational force, and F is your constant, and can be your value of gradients. So by using this formula, you can calculate the stopping side distance. Next is, what do you mean by the overtaking side distance? We know that overtaking side distance is also play important role in the design of road construction. The overtaking side distance is the minimum distance open to the vision of the driver of a vehicle intending to overtake the slow vehicle ahead safety against the traffic in the opposite direction. The overtaking side distance is also called as the passing side distance. You should know that what is the another name of overtaking side distance. The another name of overtaking side distance is the passing side distance. And the road over which a driver with his eye of level 1.2 meter above the road surface can see the top of an object 1.2 meter above the road surface. So basically, you should maintain a distance of 1.2 meter. And there are various factors which affect on the overtaking side distance or OSD. So these factors are velocity of the overtaken vehicles, and of the vehicles coming in the opposite direction. We know there are two types of vehicles. One is overtaking vehicle, and second one is overtaken vehicles. So when, if you want to overtake another vehicle, so you should have a proper distance between these two vehicles, so that there should not be any type of collision between two vehicles, and one can properly move on the road. Another factor on which the OSD is depend is the spacing, then skill and reaction time of the driver. Many times we know that whenever there is the accident take place, so we know that due to some mistake done by the driver, that's why this has been taken, or this has been done. So many times to avoid the accident, this depend upon the skill, quality, and reaction time of the driver. Okay. If driver is proper and he is having the proper skill and he know how to drive the vehicle, so in that case he can manage to avoid the any type of collision with another vehicles. Then rate of acceleration. The rate of acceleration plays a very important role in case of overtaking side distance. Once he applied the brake, there should be the opposite actions. Okay, so rate of acceleration is very important. Then gradient of the road is very important. Many times we find that in many cases, gradient of the road is very important. So already I told you that overtaking side distance, and in that case gradient of the road is very important. So how that overtaking side distance can be calculated? So there is a one mathematical formula, and you should remember this mathematical formula, because in the exam they may ask you, they may give you the number of options, but in that option they may give you this type of formula how to calculate the OSD. So OSD can be calculated or is equal to VBT plus 2S plus VB under score of 4S plus A plus VT. So here we know that S is the distance between two vehicles, VB is your velocity related with the overtaking vehicle, and V is the velocity which is related to the overtaken vehicles, and capital T is your time OSD. So this is all about the overtaking side distance. And next is overtaking zones. Already this overtaking zones, this is related with the your design step. Normally the overtaking zones are provided where OSD cannot be provided. So in many cases, if there is a brick gradient and cutting or filling is not possible, or due to the topographic condition of the road, overtaking OSD is not possible. So in that case, we are providing the overtaking zones. So in this figure, you can see the various geometry of overtaking zones has been shown, and these are the zones dedicated for the overtaking operation marked with wide road. The desirable length of overtaking zones is 5 times OSD and the minimum is 3 times OSD. So this mathematical calculation, you should remember this mathematical calculation while you are going to solve the numericals. They may ask you this mathematical calculation, and you should remember all these dimensions of the picture which is shown and which is related with the overtaking zones. Next is super elevation. So already I told you that super elevation is one of the important thing when we are going to design a road. Super elevation is also called as the cant efficiency or banking of the road. Whenever you want to reduce the skidding and slipping of the road, in that case, we should have the knowledge of super elevation, we should have the knowledge of cant efficiency, and you should have the knowledge of banking of the road. So whenever we are providing the curves on the road, we should provide all these curves properly, technically, so that there should not be any type of accidents related to the vehicles. So super elevation or a cant or banking is the transfer slope provided at the horizontal curve to counteract the centrifugal force. So I already told you that there should be the counter action of the force. Once we get the counter action of the force, we can avoid the any type of accidents or skidding or slipping of the vehicles. If there is an action, there should be the reaction. Okay. So in this figure, we can see that one inclined portion is there, and you can see that one vehicles is there, how the various types of normal reactions and tangential reactions are acting on the road. And one should have this knowledge of all these things so that he can reduce the accident. So what next is what are the various factors which are important in case of super elevation? The factor acting on the vehicle on horizontal curve of radius at a speed of arch, the centrifugal force acting horizontally outward through the center of gravity, the weight of the vehicles acting downwards through the center of gravity, and friction force between the vehicles and the pavement along the surface inwards. So these are the various points which should be considered while taking the point of super elevation in the mind. Now another is extra widening. What do you mean by extra widening? We know that where we are providing the extra widening. We are providing the extra widening at the outer surface of the road when there will be the curve, and when any vehicles is moving on the curve. So there should not be any type of skidding of the vehicle. We are providing the extra widening on the outer surface of the road. So what do you mean by extra widening? Keeping the outer surface of the road on higher level as compared to the inner level. That particular phenomena is called as the extra widening. So extra widening is referred to the additional width of the carriageway that is required on a curved section of the road over and above the required on a straight alignment. The widening is done due to the two reasons. The first and most important is the additional width. So whenever there is the curve, we should provide the additional width on the road so that we can reduce the centrifugal force and there is not any collision or any skidding of the vehicles. So extra widening is also called as the mechanical widening. It is also called as the psychological widening, and mathematically this extra widening can be calculated as equal to Wm is equal to NL square by 2R. Okay, where L is your length and R is the radius of curvature and N is the proper number. So by using this formula NL square by 2R, we can find the extra widening. Next, what do you mean by the psychological widening? So already I told you that the psychological widening, it is the part of the extra widening. Providing the extra width on the top of the road is called as the widening. So psychological widening is the next most part of the extra widening. widening of the pavement has to be done for some psychological reason. There is a tendency for the driver to drive close to the edge of the pavement of the curve. We know that many times the driver is very close to the edge of the road or edge of the curve, and it may result in the accident. So avoid all this type of accident. We are providing the psychological widening, and mathematically this psychological widening can be calculated as NL square divided by 2R plus V by 2.64 under root of R. So you remember this formula. In the exam they may ask you when you are going for the gate examination. In that case they are asking this small thing, what is the formula for psychological widening? Then in case you should know this formula. Psychological widening is NL square divided by 2R plus V under root of 2.64 under root of R, where R is the radius of curvature. Now we are going to discuss about the various types of curves. Already I told you that we are providing the curves for the safety. Basically, it is not possible that every time we are providing the straight alignment. As per the topographical condition, if there is a curve, so we should turn our alignment as per the requirement. So for safety purpose, we are providing various types of the curve on the road design. So these curves are classified as a horizontal curve, summit curve, or valley curve. So now we are going to discuss about the horizontal transition curve. The transition curve is provided to change the horizontal alignment from straight to circular curve. And normally this horizontal transition curve plays a very important role for the safety of road. So there are various objectives of the horizontal transition curve. So they are as follows: to introduce the gradually centrifugal force between the tangent point and the beginning of the circular curve, avoiding the sudden jerk on the vehicle. This increases the comfort of passenger. To enable the driver to turn the steering gradually for his own comfort and security. To provide a gradually introduction of super elevation, and to provide a gradually introduction of extra widening, and to enhance the aesthetic appearance of the road. Basically what happens, if it is possible for the driver to turn his steering properly, or there should be the manage of various centrifugal force, super elevation, and if we are providing the proper extra widening on the road. So all these things plays a very important role in case of safety. And also by providing the horizontal transition curve, there will be a proper aesthetic appearance we can get for this road. Okay. So this way horizontal transition curves are very important, and as per the requirement we are providing these curves. Next is summit curve. So what do you mean by the summit curve? The summit curve is also called as the vertical curve with a gradient. They are formed when two gradients meet at a particular point. Okay. There are various types of summit curve. You should remember this type. When you are going to appear for the examination, they may ask you what are the various types. They ask very basic thing. Then you should know what are the various types of summit curve, how these curves are useful. Okay? So normally they are parabolic curves, they are circular curves, and the curves which are related with the gradient. So these are the various types of the summit curves. In this figure, you can see there are number of various types of summit curves in figure number 1, figure number 2, 3, and 4. Here they shown the various types of summit curve in various direction, and this type of curve plays a very important role. Here you can see that some summits curve are of parabolic shape, some submit curves of circular shape, so some submit curves are of semicircular shape. So these are the various types of submit curves, and we are providing these submit curves as per the we are providing the submit curve as per the requirement of the road. Next, we are going to discuss about the valley curves. So already I know that curves are classified in various types. So next one is the valleys curve. Valley curve is also called as the sag curve. Vertical curves with convex type. They are formed when two gradients meet, as shown in the figure. So in this figure, you can say that there are mixing of two gradients. So when there is a mixing of two gradients, the curve we develop is called as the valley curve. So its shape is like a valley, so that it is called as the valley curve. You say in the figure, these are the ascending and descending types of curves as shown in the figure. And whenever they required, we are providing this type of curves. So student, today we are discuss about the various types of chambers. We are discuss about what do you mean by super elevation, what do you mean by centrifugal force, how the super elevation and centrifugal force plays a important role in the road design. We also discuss about the various types of curves. What do you mean by the transient curves? What do you mean by the valley curve? What do you mean by summit curve? We also discuss about the various types of side distance, why these side distance are important, and why we are providing the side distance. So when you are going for the design of the road, all these things are very important. Why these things are important? Because if you take the in considering the geometric design, so one person should want that there should not be any type of accident due to the geometric design. Means when you are going to design a road, that road should be designed very properly. That's why there should not be any type of accident. So we are providing the chambers, we are providing the proper curves, we are providing the side distance. One should have the proper knowledge of the thing. So this is one part which is related with the geometric design and which minimize the accident. Another thing is the skill and behavior of the drivers, then mentality of the road users. The driver who is driving the car, he should be with a proper skill, his behavior should be proper. So by doing all these things, he can avoid the accident. And then next thing is road users, like we people. We should all follow the all rules and regulations, sign and signals of the road. That's why there should not be any type of events, and we should be safe. So it is the responsibility of everyone. It is the responsibility of government that they should construct a proper road. A driver should use his all skill while driving the vehicle, and the road user should obey all the laws, all signals and sign. So all these three E's of traffic engineering can reduce the accidents, and there will be the we will get the proper design of the geometric roads. So this way all should remember today's various points. You should remember various formulas which will help you for the preparation of the GATE examination. Okay, you just wait.